What's up, traders? Mike Katz here with 7 Points Capital with today's trader takeaways. The spiders getting rejected by 274, a number we are watching pretty closely here on the desk. Why 274? Well, the reason is that we are potentially going to break out of that level where we topped out last week, and we got rejected there yesterday, and we got rejected again today, closing on the weaker side. So now we are seeing this flag that we have, and we'll be interested to see which way we break out of it. So we have 274 and 270 area after a move to the upside. Kind of looks like a flag. If we break below 270, then that will negate the flag. And if we break above 274, that should say some continuation to the upside. So we're watching that closely. As far as big caps, not a whole lot going on. Some of the names I was focused on didn't really do a whole lot in the big cap space. Toll Brothers and Coles, they had some action, but I couldn't really find my niche there today. So I was really focused on either day two from yesterday, little trash stocks that had moved up a lot, and today was day two, or day one from today. But a lot of these lower price stocks, they had decent size action for me. So let's look at ADOM because that was the one from yesterday and the day before. Today was day three. So if we look at day one on Friday, big pop. Yesterday, four times, five times the volume it did the previous day, but closed off the highs. And yesterday we were shorting this as well. And today, when we came in, it was on our radar. Why was it on my radar today? Well, if you look at the action preceding today, you can see that we had to move up and we started stalling out, and it looked like the backside was starting to get put in. 175, 180, 190 here. This was important yesterday, and we got stuffed here below $2 a couple of times. One of these times really hard. And then on that, another stuff below to 160 yesterday, and we got a feeble bounce, and then boom, more continuation to the downside. And we were having some technical difficulties yesterday, so we couldn't really get a video recorded, but this was what I was going over until I realized that the audio was not working. But again, so this was on our radar from yesterday, and today when I came in, I figured the volume profile is really heavy in 170, 180 area, and if it goes down and comes back and gets rejected by 160, 170, I want to get short. Well, when we opened, it felt really weak right away. Didn't really give a bounce to 170. Just opened and started drifting lower right away. So I just started getting in as early as I could and with as much as I could. But it was SSR. It was a thin name, and it started going pretty quickly right off the start. Let's look at the 1 minute. It started dropping pretty quickly, so it didn't really give me a chance to size too much off of the first couple of minutes. But I had some, which was nice. Nice drop here, covered some. And then on the retest to VWAP, I was able to get bigger, get much more. And this ended up being a nice symbol again today, as it kind of lost volume, lost volatility, lost interest, and just closed near the lows. So this will potentially be on my watch list again tomorrow for continued unwind, continued backside, to see how much of this it wants to give back. So that was pretty good. What else? CDTI, that was fantastic. One of the newer kids, Phil, he mentioned this one, and this ended up being a really good one for us. I think this was my best symbol on the day. It was a stock that all of a sudden started doing crazy volume, 2.5 times its float today, a push from 65 cents to $1.50, and that all happened within the first half hour. And I wasn't involved at that time. It pulls back and starts to get kind of a flag pattern going, and the volume profile was really heavy at this 120 area. So let me draw this out real quick. If you guys look at this area, before we, so before 1 o'clock, before the spot, all the volume was here in this area, 120, 125. That was massive volume in the volume profile area. Later on, when we got up here, Then this started filling in with the rest of the day. But I was getting long here on this dip into support, into volume profile area, into VWAP, and I felt that this held really well. It didn't really stall out. So I got long here and sold into the push into high of day. Sold half, bought it back, sold half again, and then kind of felt heavy, and then it got stuffy. So I got out. I got out here, and let me punch up CDTI. Yeah, so obviously, you could see that I started in pretty late. I didn't catch the earlier move, but you don't have to. You just have to join what's working. And at this point in time, what was working was that the longs were in control. The offer was pretty thin. If somebody came in to buy 10,000 shares, all of a sudden it would flip up a few cents. And then the bid proper started coming in. So all of a sudden there were bids below the current market price and at the current market price, and they would just soak up anything that was sold. So whenever the shorts were kind of getting trapped enough, it would just take off, and that's what we got here. We got a nice push, sold a little bit into this double top, sold a little more into high of day test 150, and then decided to buy back, thinking that as long as it pulls back here and doesn't get below this 120 breakout level, then this should look like another move up. Let's look at what we have here. If we could look at the same. See, this to me looks pretty healthy still, right? Because we have the double top and the pullback. As long as it makes this higher low versus here and another higher low versus here, right? It should head higher. So let's see if I can get real fancy here with my line study. Add line study, and we'll get a trend line going. Here we go. So we get one of these things going. You can see that this is pretty healthy, right? It's the pullback is all right. I sold into strength. Big offer at 150. It couldn't get over that. And I bought back on the dip. So whoever bought here and chased, when they're getting out here and panicking out, that's when I bought back what I sold. But then the bounce was not very strong. Started scaling out, sold some, but when it started reclaiming, got back in and sold into strength again. And when it couldn't get above 150, that was my cue, and I got short, and I figured this would be good risk versus one above 150, right? If it was 150 was going to go, I could grab those, and I'm risking 10 cents at most. So if this feels heavy, and you could see that I started stuffing here, big red candles on volume when it couldn't get through here, and the buyers were losing control, and all of a sudden I noticed a seller coming on the tape. That was my cue to get out of my long and get short, and got a nice drop here, covered half, and some more at $1, covered the rest, and that ended up being a really nice trade. Couldn't get a whole lot of size like I wanted because I couldn't borrow as many shares as I wanted, but it was still good. So I'll take that. CDTI was nice action. I'll watch it for tomorrow, see how it wants to behave at 120 area. What else? We spoke about ADOM, SNES. That was another one from yesterday. Today was day 2. It's closed strong, above $1, and got a continuation today. But here when it went, oh, now I remember. So this was really on my watch list. Pre-market I came in, it had action. What was I seeing? So this is yesterday, right? Big push up, held $1 and closed strong. Pre-market it's up, consolidating well, holding above yesterday's highs, should get a push up. I didn't join trend here, but I was waiting to either get short on the open versus 150, 160 area, not versus, but entering there. And if that didn't hold, I was going to get short near $2. So because this rallied pretty quickly, I didn't short 150, 160. I didn't do anything here. Comes back, holds pre-market highs, bounces again, and at this point I've got orders out there above 190, like 195, 196, 197, just hoping that it jams into $2 and fails. And if it was going to reclaim $2 and above, I would get out. Well, it didn't get to, above 190, closer to 2. So I didn't get the size I wanted. When it came down here on a bounce, I ended up shorting it here, 175. And because you could see that the stop's going to be further away from $2, I had much smaller size than I would have if it jammed on 2. But it was still a good one. Let the thing work. Went lower and lower. Here I was getting out. Tried it once more here and was done with it when it made higher highs and took off right here. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at SNES here real quick. Here we go. So, guess what? I was wrong. I did take one stab at it here. No, that's not true. I didn't take a stab at it. What happened here was I was putting out orders above 190 and somehow instead of shorting, I hit a buy and ended up buying. But I sold out of that pretty quickly, realizing there was just an error. And then I was waiting above here, 195, 196, closer to $2. Never got there. So I had to, get involved here. Smaller size, but I still wanted to be in. So that ended up working, doing some covers into the drops. Here I figured let me try it again versus here. And when it couldn't make new lows and popped up, got out of it here and was done. So overall this was a good one as well. And that's it. So I think you have a lot of names that are moving. A lot of trash stocks are getting pretty good moves. What else do I want? Oh, CHK. Here's one that's been on my radar. Yesterday I struggled with it. Today I had it in swing, and so I was trading two accounts. In swing I came in short and I added more near $5. So that was really good and ended up closing weak. And then in day trading account, I didn't do well. Not HK, but CHK. There we are. So I did okay, but I could have done better, and what I made a mistake in was that in my short-term account, I kept on trying to fight the trend. So I came in with a bias thinking this is going to roll over, toppy action on it daily. So I shorted, covered. And then instead of realizing that this is reversing back up and making higher high, higher low, guess what? I decided to fight it a little bit and it wasn't fun. I fought it all the way up. I ended up, making some of the losses back, but in my day trading account, I think I ended up down a little bit in CHK, made a decent chunk on the swing, and got more aggressive there, and then covered some down here, and it ended up being an okay one. But I could have definitely waited for the backside, and starting over here instead of fighting it all the way up. So having a bias, sometimes it's great, but most of the time it's not going to be a good idea because when you're wrong and you have a bias, you're not willing to shake it off and move on. And when you're right, it's great, but it'll hurt whenever you're wrong. So Peter Brandt, the guy, one of the market wizards, I think, and he was on Chat with Traders. He's a great guy to follow, and one of the things that he loves to say is his ideas he has high conviction, what is it, trade ideas, high conviction, loosely held, something along those lines. So he loves his ideas, but he holds them pretty loosely and will get out of them whenever he's wrong. So that's something that I think I could have done better here on CHK. Avoid the front side, avoid the higher highs and fighting it, and wait for the backside. But the problem is, these names, a lot of times they just don't really set up that well, and they end up collapsing before you have a chance. So, but that's FOMO, and that's something I want to continue to work on and improve on. There's no reason for me to fight this. Maybe here I want to be in, fine, but over here I have no business after the spot shorting it and trying to pick a top in it. I have no business shorting it here. Just wait for it to show me the backside, give me a lower high, lower low, and then get in. It'll be a lot less painful. So, but overall, CHK ended up being a good one also in swing. This is curling down. OPEC came out with a headline that helped over here where they said that they might bump up production with everything that's going on with Venezuela and Iran. So that ended up tanking a lot of the oil stocks. Let's look at crude oil took a pretty big dip there. XLE, pretty big dip there, and that kind of helped with the CHK position. But I'll be watching this one as well, and we'll be hopefully next time more careful on the front side and waiting for the back side more patiently. Thank you guys for watching. Mike Katz. Peace.